Hey, welcome back. It's Milan with the Tuning Into the One video series. And in today's video, we're going to cover trust. Yes, that's right. Trust. The big Trust. Why? Because trust is such a huge component of what happens in our relationships, especially in our intimate relationships, but really throughout all of our relationships. One of the biggest challenges from clients and women I talk to, as well as men all the time, is that the whole issue of trust and trustworthiness. How do you get to a place where you know you can trust somebody with your heart, with your money, with your future, with your dreams? Trust seems to play a huge part in everything that we really look to find a sense of security and dignity and wholeness when it comes to relationships. Well, it's a big subject with a lot of possible ways to look at it, tackle it, points of view, and discussion moments. Now, this transcends really intimate relationships and gets into every single relationship, starting with the one that you have with yourself. And that being said, let's look at a simple way of just breaking it down, dissecting it in a simple way, being able to put in some, if you will, if we're going to put this in medical terms, you want to do a little bit of radiology. You want to look at the x-ray, maybe do an ultrasound of the problem, maybe take a CAT scan of the problem, then look at it, diagnose where you think the issues are and the problems, and then put up some prescriptions and a prognosis for how things can go. So that would be the full cycle of it. Look at it, analyze it, get some ideas about what you're looking at, get some different perspectives, i.e. the x-ray, the ultrasound, the CAT scan version of how you do this with breaking it down in relationships, and what does trust really amount to. Trust has different elements that essentially, if you're looking to be able to trust somebody, you really have to have some kind of a trustworthy record. And the simplest way to break it down in terms of human psychology that I found useful with myself, my clients, and that I get tremendous results with every day working one-on-one with my private clients, that really comes down to two pieces here, and that's reputation versus character. Now, when we're talking about the Soulmate Attraction blueprint, where two people can really find a perfect blend of what's going to match them up and have them start getting results in days and weeks rather than years and decades, a trust issue oftentimes comes up as part of the past problems in relationships. Trust. People who you can't trust, and why. It comes down to the difference between character and reputation. Reputation is what other people think of you or what you have a tendency to hear out there about yourself, and character is who you are from the inside out. Now, hopefully those two things can line up, but because the world is full of hearsay and opportunities for judgment and skewed perspectives on things being taken out of context and all kinds of other stuff, problems arise. When you get into relationship and you get to the point where you're dating and then you're relating in that relationship and you're looking to mate or build a long-term relationship, what's the real pieces here? Well, behind trust and the fact that you want a track record that shows trustworthiness is essentially a simple formula, which is when somebody has thoughts and words and actions that all line up, then that really builds a level of alignment and integrity, which in turn creates a opportunity for trust to be built and then a trustworthy track record to be established. So how do you go about figuring this out? Intimacy, authenticity, transparency, integrity. Those are big words, and how do you break them down into simple equations? Well, what you want to do is really come up with some agreements, and you want those agreements to be put in a way so that they're clear, easy to understand, effective communication. And then you don't have any misunderstandings or I thought this or you thought that. Now, when it comes down to the problem of reputation and character, then you get into some fundamental issues of value. So it's important to come up with agreements and to have an alignment of values as quickly as possible in a relationship. So if you look back to the 30 most awesome dating questions that you can ask in the first 5 dates that we covered in previous videos, well, then that'll give you an idea of how to get the basic groundwork for building up trust in meeting somebody and talking to them. Beneath that is you're looking for that level of transparency, authenticity, and what that amounts to is making sure that what somebody is telling you they're thinking, what they're saying in their words and their actions are all aligned and in integrity. Because when somebody says one thing but does another, or when you start seeing tendencies of where somebody says, well, I'll call you, but they don't, and then later on they have a reason or an excuse, you want to have some rules that say 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strikes, and you're out, because that eliminates the problem of trust. The other piece with trust is once you think you've established the level of trust or understanding, and they really amount to different sides of the same coin, then you want to move to what your expectations are. And this is where simple agreements where you write things down and make sure that they're easily understood. Email is wonderful. Handwritten is good. Everything in business is usually conducted on an agreement or a contract basis where you're looking at terms and conditions, and then you're looking for some type of an exchange that happens in a basic contract or the idea behind a contract. So whatever it is, the sale of a car, employment, the transfer of goods, when you buy something at Amazon, or you exchange money for a particular product or a service, and there could be an agreement in place. When you have your credit card, there's credit card agreements. So you want to determine a way of simply delivering into the relationship idea just agreements. They could be on simple points, or they could be more complex. If you ever watch the Big Bang Theory, Sheldon has a roommate agreement, and the thing is like this massive document. But in all relationships, without the humorous side of things, you want to be able to just anticipate basic alignment of values. You want to talk about how honesty, integrity, sincerity, transparency plays into it, and then you want to watch the words and the actions, and when you're speaking to somebody, you'll get an idea about what their thoughts are behind their words and their actions. So if you're looking for a trust meter, the simplest way to look at it is trust is established with a track record. How do you determine trust? You look at reputation versus character. How do you ascertain whether somebody's more worried about their reputation rather than who they are as a person, their character? You look at their values. You ask them what's most important to you in the context of relationships. You sit down, you tell them yours, they tell you theirs, and then you sit down and come up with an agreement on what's aligned and where you might have areas of concern. For instance, it's simple. If you want to have an exclusive monogamous relationship with somebody where they're the only ones that you're considering or wanting to have intimacy with, you put it down on paper. Or you make a statement saying, I want to be in an exclusive monogamous one-on-one relationship with you. I'm ready to commit to that. What are your thoughts and feelings, and are you ready to commit to the same? And then wait for the feedback. Then, if you have agreement, you sit down and you write it out. Okay, we have agreement. That means that we only look to sleep, physically intimate sex with one another only, nobody else. There you go, it's done. And then the track record is making sure that stays in play. How do you know you can trust that person? Well, before you make that commitment, you want to look at their track record. Is what they said and what they did in alignment in the past? Have they ever said something that wasn't what they did? And if so, what are the circumstances and the situations? You want to feel out the little pieces as you go along the way before you commit to the bigger pieces, because once you do, if you trust somebody and you feel like you've given them their heart, and then it's a year, 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years down the road, and all of a sudden, boom, somebody cheats on somebody by sleeping with somebody else. Wow, what happened? What happened? Where did we lose the trust? Where did we lose the intimacy? Where did we lose the opportunities for transparency and authenticity? And it's such a deep subject, but you can build trust quickly and easily by going to a format that looks at character versus reputation. After that, it's sitting down and looking at values. And values are what's important to me in the context of a particular area of my life. Your relationship values, you can sit down with each other, ask the question, what's most important to you in the context of an intimate relationship, and I'll share what's most important with me in the context of a relationship. You sit down, you have a discussion, you talk, you take notes, you decide on the areas where you have complete agreement or complete complementary positions, and you get those down on paper as just simple alignment agreements. And then you move from there and you look at what happens every day. The more consistent somebody is in their thoughts and their actions and their behaviors and their words, the better off everybody else is. But when somebody is more worried about their reputation and their character takes a back seat to that, well then problems can arise, because what they say, what they think, and what they do may not be in alignment. And when that happens, those are red flags, and you have to watch out for those, because that's how you protect yourself from getting to the point of having your heart broken. It's by having honest, sincere, upfront, authentic, transparent discussions with someone and being able to state your truth mindfully, carefully, and share your heart. Be able to share from your heart rather than communicate from your hurt and your pain is essential to being able to build trustworthiness in both short-term and long-term relationships. So, as always, like us, comment on this video, or subscribe to our series. And remember, if you are ready to meet Mr. Right now, then look below this video. You'll find a link to find out more how to book your free one-on-one Soulmate Attraction Blueprint Introductory Session with me. And remember, I do a maximum of 3 of these a week, so it's on a first-come, first-served basis. So until the next time, this is Milan wishing you amazing dating success and true relationship mastery. Bye for now.